Hi, I'm Tracy, the Director of Financial Information with the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, and I'm very happy to talk with you today about the accounts payable workflow solution we implemented in OnBase with the outstanding support and staff at Navient. Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is a marketing and promotional nonprofit created to grow the demand for Wisconsin milk by providing programs that enhance the competitiveness of the Wisconsin dairy industry. We are headquartered in Madison. We have about 55 employees, a third of which are in home offices across the US. We started with OnBase in the early 2000s, primarily for document storage and records management. Our finance team was fully committed to going paperless and were diligent in managing records. But after doing that in our department, we kind of plateaued in system functionality and in company-wide adoption. However, we made what we consider a big leap forward last year by automating accounts payable. So why did we decide to make the leap? Well, with the sudden switch to a remote workforce in 2020, DFW was forced to employ what I like to call a makeshift accounts payable workflow using a combination of Adobe and emails. Invoices and backup documentation were manually manipulated to create PDFs that were in turn sent to staff one at a time via emails for approval. These were in turn routed to finance to perform our protocols, such as processing in our accounting system and signing checks. Then the invoices and related pieces were at last exported and indexed in OnBase. It worked, but this created a lot of touches on each invoice, duplicate entry of data, questionable controls, no easy tracking system for outstanding invoices, and documents that were only accessible after the fact for non-finance staff. There also have been some challenges since the project launch, but you could also look at these as positives. There's been a responsibility shift from accounts payable hunting down important backup documents to the approving staff being responsible. And they are the ones who know why we're paying that invoice. Also, non-finance staff that have been slower to embrace OnBase are now reviewing invoices, attaching documents, adding notes, cross-referencing related records, and approving payments, all in OnBase. Navient has been our partner since the beginning. They were very responsive to this project and have always been in general. Navient reaches out to their customers, and I can't say enough good things about the staff who specifically worked on this project with us. When we first investigated document management, OnBase was the best out there, but still approachable even for a smaller company like us. It's always been a dynamic solution that keeps up with changing tech, and I also really appreciate the customer resources and support they offer through the Highland community. Our project implementation was amazing. It was a scary project for us in terms of size and scope for a department and company of our size. Also, we don't have an on-site OnBase administrator and we outsource IT, but Navient had the expertise to hold our hand through every step, do the heavy lifting, and project management was bar none. Start to finish, the project began in March and was completed by November of 2022. Workflows changed the way DFW does business. The tedious management of invoices and support documentation has been erased. Our AP specialist has realized a tremendous amount of time it takes to process accounts payable and is able to focus more on value-added duties. Another big change is the ability for staff to interact with invoices and increase visibility into AP from start to finish. OnBase is now integrated with Outlook both for the intake of invoices and for approval notifications and reminders. It also talks to our accounting system to eliminate duplicate entry of data and automate indexing. Some of my favorite tools attached to this project include importing purchase orders using document import, flagging secure invoices to maintain confidentiality, and tracking down documents that we need to pay sales and use tax on. Also, we switched to the Unity client, and that was huge for us. So what's next? Right now, we're just living with this fantastic new solution. We've made a few tweaks just last month, including a redo of the email notice to look less like spam and a separate queue for electronic payments. We'll continue to assess and are considering more financial processes like new vendor setups, contract processing, and budget transfers. Thank you for letting me share our solution with you and my story, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Navient Summit.